Hi, guys, it's me again. My name is Bloom, and I am speaking about racial profiling, police brutality, and the recent events here. It is the 1st of June, 2020, and no longer will I remain silent. Like Corey Asbury, Omari Hardwick, Tyrese, Tyrese Gibson, Lady Antebellum, so many, Darius Rucker, one of Tyrese's Caucasian friends, lots of people who were silent for quite a while, but lots of people, many of them white, have been talking about how they're not going to remain silent anymore, and that they're going to try to use their platform and their power for good and really start to bring awareness to these problems. But again, as I was saying in video number one, if your only exposure and your only influence or understanding or comprehension of a person of color is watching a show like Cops, then that unfortunately is informing your biases, conscious or unconscious biases that you have. And so it's much easier to be in fear when you see a black man walking down the street or a black woman. And, this evening I watched, probably, I shouldn't have been watching this many. I was actually planning to watch my show, Saints and Sinners, but I watched like at least 20 videos on YouTube, and there are countless more of people being harassed for being black or brown when sitting on a park bench, when trying to enter their own building, when calling AAA to have their car just standing outside of their apartment building, and AAA was supposed to come. An interracial couple was filming their daughter on a sidewalk, and the cops were called. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And let me be clear, if you don't know this already, and if this is your first time understanding this, I hope your heart will open and you will change to understand that racism is alive and well in America. It is alive and well. It happens every single day. And as a person of color, as a minority, these microaggressions are happening every single day. And it just makes you tired. It makes me tired. It makes me sad. It's disturbing. I grew up at the crux of two different ethnicities, races, backgrounds, and I have a pretty multicultural, multi-ethnic family. And it's really hard for me to understand how anyone can hate someone because of the color of their skin. It makes no sense. There's no, I can't get it. I can't understand. I read books about it. I try to educate myself. I know, a lot of this comes from our history. Slavery, followed by Reconstruction, where African Americans were still slaves. They were just basically replicating, working to say for really, really low wages, renting property from the same people who used to own them. And then now we have mass incarceration of black and brown people, which is another form of slavery. And we have a lot of wrongful imprisonment, followed by the fact that they get exonerated, but sometimes they don't even get released from jail. This issue is dealt with a lot in Curtis 50 Cent Jackson's new show For Life on ABC. It's so problematic. Racism is a very real thing. So people are tired, and if you wonder why they're protesting, it's because, as Dr. Martin Luther King, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, and the many, 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 many people before them, Harriet Beecher Stowe, all of these people are tired. They're tired, sick and tired. These people articulate it really well. Of that this situation keeps repeating itself. And when racial profiling becomes escalated and becomes police brutality or police death, that's when, we get horrified and terrified. But it shouldn't come to this. But it does come to this. And part of why they're protesting, and I, as a person who serves our country and has served our country, I fight for the rights in the Constitution that people can protest. We are supposed to be able to stand up against tyranny and injustice. And this has happened many, many times in history. Protests are not convenient. They're not in nice little packages. This is the way it is. It's not easy, but the reason that they're protesting is because the same thing happens over and over and over and over. And you can trace it all the way back to slavery and the antebellum South, and how when a white person does something, there's a certain set of norms that make it so they don't have the biggest of consequences generally. And when a black person does that exact same thing, they suffer great consequences, including usually imprisonment and then death, brutality, death. It's a spectrum, and no one and nobody who does it who is white generally gets consequences, punishment, repercussions. This is why people are angry. This is why they're protesting. So I promised you I would not be making long videos. There will be a third video in this series. This one's already at 6 minutes and 25 seconds. Much love. There will be a video number 3. I love you guys, and I hope you're having a great evening. And rest in peace, all of the young men and women who have been wrongfully killed due to police brutality, vigilante justice, racism, white supremacy, and every other type of way to be unjust against someone.